Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I am your host, Anthony Gamer, and in today's episode, we're going to discuss more Advergames. Advergames are nothing new. As a matter of fact, the very first one that was ever made was in 1978, and it was intended for the Atari 2600. The game was called Polo, and it was going to be a promotional game for Ralph Lauren's Polo Cologne. It was programmed by Carol Shaw. However, the game wasn't released, but is fully playable and available all over the internet wherever you find your favorite ROMs. Probably one of the most famous ones, or probably I should say one of the most valuable of all Advergames, has to be the special edition version of Clean Sweep, a game that was made for the Vectrex. When the game starts up, there is an advertisement for Mr. Boston liquor stores. This game is highly sought after by collectors, even though they didn't really actually change the game to advertise. It's kind of interesting how right when the game starts up, you have an advertisement for a liquor store. So today we're going to look at more games that were created simply to sell products. Whether these games are any good or not is kind of up for debate, as some of them have gone down in video game history as having a great cult following, and others of them were so bad most people would like to forget them. So without further ado, let's get into the games. And first up on the list is Pepsi Man. This was an endless runner action video game developed and published by Kid for the PlayStation. It was released in Japan on March 4th, 1999, and it is based on this Japanese superhero mascot for Pepsi. It was only released in Japan because the promotional ran in Japan. So yeah, it's kind of similar to other running games, kind of like Crash Bandicoot. Basically, the story is that Pepsi Man has to get Pepsi to some people that are really thirsty. First three stages are based on real locations like San Francisco, New York City, and Texas. So you jump, run, duck. It's an interesting game, really, to say the least. And there's all kinds of obstacles in the way, like pedestrians, construction cranes, all kinds of stuff. Really, it's kind of fun for a while. It kind of gets old kind of quick. Most people, I think, play it just for the novelty of it, and of course, that is mostly thanks to an angry video game nerd who tried it out. You can get the ROM just about anywhere. I've found it lots of places. If you want to get an actual hard copy, though, that's going to run into a little bit of money, because it's a little on the collector's side. I think you might play this game a couple times just for the novelty of it, but overall, yeah, it's not one that I would consider a classic. And we go from a video game that most people would like to forget to a game that has developed quite a following over the years, and that is Chex Quest. Now, Chex Quest was originally programmed in 1996 and was released in 1997 by Digital Cafe. And this was a game that you actually got from purchasing a box of Chex cereal. That would have the game right on the box there. And yeah, it was basically a conversion of sorts of the game Doom. Yep, remember that? So in this one, you ran around. You were this really cool guy, and the Chex Warrior, and you were trying to stop the Flemoids. You use this cool weapon called a Zorcher, and it teleports their enemies back to their home dimension. So yeah, no killing on this one. So yeah, it's a really fun game. It really developed quite a following, and it actually won some awards. Because, as you know, some parents would probably much rather their kids play this than Doom back in the day. Even though it was kind of a spoof, I was amazed at just how popular the game became and developed quite a following, not just then, but to this day. And it was so nice they did it twice. And this is Chex Quest II, Flemoids Take Chextropolis. Now, this game was made freely available to gamers on the Chex Quest homepage. Now this one is about the same. This time, the Chex Warrior returns to his home planet and lands in Chex City, only to discover that the Flemoid threat has reached his homeworld. Here the player battles through a terrestrial spaceport, a cinema, a museum, and the city Chextropolis. All right, so just as great as the original one, they actually made a third one as well. We're not going to discuss that one today, but here recently they made an even better one. In 2016, work began on a high-definition remake of the original game, and it was going to be called Chex Quest HD. It was going to be using the Unreal Engine 4 with permission from General Mills. The trailer was released in February of 2018, and finally, it was released on May 18th, 2020, and you can get it for free on Steam. So it's got a cool story behind it, with cutscenes and all kinds of cool stuff. I highly recommend it. It's really a lot of fun, and you can even get it on the Switch, as it was released in March of 2022. You can actually get the old games there floating around, and they'll work just fine on DOSBox. But if you played the game back in the day and you'd like to see this new version, I highly recommend it because it is a whole lot of fun. It looks great in HD. All right, now we move on to our next game, and that is Chester Cheetah, Too Cool to Fool. Now, many of you are probably familiar with Chester Cheetah. He's the mascot for Cheetos, and he kind of got his start in the early 90s. I think he's still around today, and because they thought it was a great idea, Kaneko made this game. It was released for the Super NES and Sega Genesis. The Super NES is slightly better. It's basically a simple side-scrolling platform game. There's a hidden scooter part. Chester can dash and stun enemies by jumping on their heads. Yeah. There's no actual mention of Cheeto snack food in the game, but his health points are represented by Cheeto's paws. Not a great game, and actually it kind of got bad reviews, but, for the novelty, I guess it was okay. It's kind of hard for it to stand out in a sea of lots and lots of platformer side-scrolling games, which were, of course, all the norm back in the early 90s. Not really learning their lesson, they decided in 1994 to release Chester Cheetah Wild Quest. This one, the player dies in one hit unless they have a cheese puff on hand. Collecting 100 paws per level results in a new continue. Yeah, even in easy mode, it's not exactly easy. In this one, you're trying to go across the country on a motorcycle and stuff, and it's just, this one's even worse than the other one. Nintendo Power released it. Nintendo Power gave it a bad score because of the stiff controls. But otherwise, the graphics are nice, but I'm really glad I didn't pay money for this game. Some of you may enjoy it just for the fact that you may like Chester Cheetah, but overall, this is probably one to skip. Now, in the previous episode, I had talked about the McDonald's games. Most of them were pretty cool. Some were really, really good. I guess Burger King decided to try the same thing. So in 1987, we got Whopper Chase. In this game, you are a Whopper. You must make your way to the right past all obstacles to get to the hungry patron. Along the way, you must also gather the parts to the Burger King logo so the patron knows you're a real Whopper, not a knockoff. You must kill or avoid tomatoes and pickles that want you to be on you, and dogs, slingshot kids, kitchen brutes that want to eat you. You shoot shots of ketchup. And the kid and the brute throw and shoot knives at you. This game was given away to people who ordered a Whopper meal at Burger King in 1987 in Spain only as a promotion, but the best version, and that's not saying much, was released for the Commodore 64. It was also released for the ZX Spectrum, the MSX, apparently, but I couldn't find it, and the Amstrad CPC, which is the absolute worst version of this game. Yeah, nothing really spectacular out here. You got to give them credit for trying it, I think. But yeah, just kind of one of those ones you may just kind of also want to try just for the novelty and probably never pick up again. All right, next up is a game I didn't really think I would like, but then when I ended up trying it, I really actually liked it and played it for quite a while, and that is Harold Hardtooth: The Fight of the Clean Teeth. This game was released in 1992 and published by Colgate Palmolive, who of course were the Colgate people, and it was developed by a company called Silver Rock Productions. In this game, you take on the role of Harold Hardtooth, who is a tooth with face, arms, legs, and a bow tie, armed with a tube of toothpaste. He must use this toothpaste to shoot all manner of bacteria enough times to kill them. The levels are made up of a sequence of platforms which run across most of the level. Harold Hardtooth can always jump up one level or jump down as far as necessary to reach the next ledge, although falling off the bottom of the level costs you a life. Energy is lost through contact with the bacteria, and you have a limited supply of toothpaste, with the need to collect more as the game goes on. You can also collect enhanced weaponry such as double firing. What you're looking at here is the DOS version. I'm running it on DOSBox, and this was the best version that I could find. The Amiga and the Commodore version weren't as good, at least in my opinion. But I found the game was really a lot of fun, and I just kept right on playing it. Honestly, though, I don't know if the game ever ends, because they just keep bringing back more and more bacteria. Some are tougher than others, but like I said, overall, it's really a fun game. If you get a chance to try it, I highly recommend it. Yeah. Next game we have is Mr. Wimpy, the hamburger game. Now, I discussed this briefly in a previous episode where I talked about Burger Time clones. Now, I won't go into detail too much, but Mr. Wimpy is a hamburger chain that started in the U.S., left the U.S., went to the United Kingdom, then went to South Africa, and then left the U.K., but then came back. So, yeah. Anyway, so in this game, you are trying to, first off, get some ingredients back to your restaurant. You're trying to bring back cheese, a beef patty, and sausage. And the next one, you are doing a Burger Time kind of level. Except for it doesn't quite play as well as Burger Time. And yeah, what you're looking at here is the Commodore 64 version. In the previous episode, when I discussed it, I used the ZX Spectrum version, but for some reason it's not working anymore. I don't know why, but yeah, the game itself is not great, and you'd probably be much better off playing the original Burger Time. Okay, and I have saved the worst for last. This is Action Biker. This is a game that uses the character Clumsy Colin from the British comic Buster, and he was also used as the mascot for the Crisps, KP Skips, which, if you don't know, Crisps are British for potato chips. This game is just insane. The controls are horrible. I don't really know what you're doing. You're just kind of driving around, picking up gas, I guess, and I don't really get what you're doing in this game. It's crazy, and like I said, the controls are horrible, but strangely enough, they love the game in England. It's gotten great reviews, and people still look back at it with nostalgia. I guess you have to be British, because boy, this game was horrible to me. But if you have fond memories of this, let me know about it in the comments below. Maybe I'm missing something. In our next episode, we're going to be discussing one of my all-time favorite simulation games of all time, and that is Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed presenting it to you. If you did like it, let me know by giving me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload any new episodes. Connect with me on all my social media platforms. Check out my Patreon page. Check out my Teespring store where you can get some cool gear to support this channel. And if you have any suggestions for any episodes or anything you'd like to see here, please let me know in the comments section below. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. Check out my latest books that just got released on Amazon, including the fact that now almost all of my books are also available on Audible. That's correct. AI has enabled me to be able to have audiobooks of all my books, and I set the price at $3.99, the lowest they would let me. So if you get a chance, check out my books on Audible and let me know what you think. And I will see each and every one of you in the next episode. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other, be kind to each other, and stop hate of all kinds. See you soon. Bye for now.